Welcome back. When it comes to men's mental health, silence does not equal strength. In 2024, about 18% of men in the U.S. received some sort of mental health treatment. That's up from previous years, but still a lot less than women, which is around 30%. Joining me now is Counselor Jared Langemeyer. He is also the Chief of Police for Hooper, Nebraska, former Douglas County deputy. Jared, first of all, law enforcement and counseling, those kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
Absolutely. It's very much, you're able to pull the counseling side in where you're, in both places, you're helping people solve problems.
Talking about feelings among men and maybe more specifically among law enforcement officers can often be stigmatized. Why is that important?
It's really hard for people to talk about their feelings, and especially men. I think we've got this idea that it's our job to take care of our families. It's our job to fix things, take care of things. And we don't really take care of ourselves. And we think that our problems don't matter, or nobody's going to care about our problems. And so it's really tough to convince men that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to ask for help and to go and talk to somebody.
That first step is really asking, making the phone call, setting up the appointment. How do you convince people to do that?
It really has to be the person's choice that they want to make that change. Studies have shown that actually making that first call starts that changing process and starts that healing process for people. Is getting over that first hurdle. But it's just, somebody has to just decide that they're going to do this and do this for themselves to make themselves better. We've
seen therapy rooms and therapy sessions played out on TV and movies all the time. Is that what it's really like?
It depends on the show that you're watching. It's definitely not the old come in, lay on the couch, talk about your feelings and things. The thing I always tell clients when they come in, that finding a therapist is kind of like dating. You don't always find Mr. or Mrs. Right the first time around, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be out dating. It doesn't mean relationships are bad. In the same way, you're not going to maybe find the perfect counselor the first time. And if you don't click with your counselor, that doesn't mean that counseling doesn't work. It just means you didn't find the right person. So don't be afraid to, fire a counselor. Tell them, hey, I need to find somebody else that I click with better.
In your practice, what are you finding that are the most common reasons men are reaching out in the first place?
Typically, it's just because things have gotten so far out of hand. They feel like things are so out of control. And oftentimes, it's because their relationships are falling apart and they're grasping at straws. And it's kind of, there's been an ultimatum made that either you go get help or we're done. And so that's, unfortunately, a lot of times it's because they've gone so far down the path of destruction that they're grasping for straws, and this is kind of a last-ditch effort.
Therapy can be great for everyone, even someone who considers themselves mentally healthy. But are there any triggers or warning signs that, hey, you really need to call somebody?
I think triggers and warning signs can be different for everybody. It's really depending on the individuals. The things that I've always coached law enforcement and first responders when I do trainings is listen to your family, listen to your friends, the people that are closest to you. Because I know for myself, there was a time where I knew I wasn't okay, but I wasn't going to admit that I wasn't okay. And I thought I had everything under control. And then people called me out and were like, hey, there's clearly something wrong. And I know that for myself, if somebody is seeing it on the outside, it must be really out of control. And so I did finally go and get some help. So just listen when people are telling you, hey, you seem off. It's okay to listen to that and accept that and reach out.
If somebody doesn't listen, what are the consequences that you've seen of people keeping things bottled up?
You can end up with a wicked case of complex PTSD. Burying your head in the sand isn't going to solve any problems. And not taking care of your mental health can definitely impact your physical health as well. And so it can lead to self-medicating, alcoholism, substance use, things like that, to try to numb the feelings and things you're having. And if you're not dealing with things, you can end up with the nightmares and aversion to going to places and things, because your body is physically going to prevent you from doing that.
For the person at home right now who's sitting there on the couch and saying, "Oh gosh, he's talking right to me right now," what's your message to them?
Don't be afraid to reach out. I know myself, I personally went through some stuff about 1.5 years ago, and I was the one that was sitting there like, nobody's gonna care. But when I did finally reach out, I was humbled and overwhelmed by the amount of support I had. So I think if you reach out and talk to people, they're gonna be there to support you, and you don't have to go through this alone.
Jared Langemeyer, thanks so much for joining us today. Great advice.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up on KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle, as a man ages, exercise stops being optional and starts really being the prescription for energy and mobility. After the break, we speak to a fitness expert on easy tips to keep you running well. First, a reminder that your comments are an important part of the show. If you want to be heard, email those comments to news@ketv.com. We love hearing from you. We'll be right back.